Welcome once again to your weekly update from the city of New Hope. A lot going on in the city as always. And to bring us up to date is the mayor, Kathi Hemken. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. What a gorgeous week this is going to be.
It is fantastic out there. A little sticky, but it's supposed to be in July, right?
It is. It is.
We'll take it here. All right, a lot to touch on. Let's begin with elections. It is election season here. Mayor, what do residents need to know as the primary really draws close?
Okay, this is just about the primary, and that's on August 13th.
Mhm.
So as of today, Monday, you can go into City Hall and get an absentee ballot. You fill it out right at City Hall. They put it in an envelope. But starting on the 26th, you can actually deposit your ballot into the ballot box. And the nice part about that is if you happen to make a mistake on your ballot, you can just go back to the clerk and get another ballot and she'll issue another one to you. So
Mhm.
the primary is very, very important. I think people tend to forget that it's just not important, but it is. And then, of course, the general election is on November 5th. And they can vote at that time. They can also vote at City Hall, but we want people to go to their polling places.
All right, and mnvotes.gov, a great place to go if you need to find out more about election locations for your own hometown and your residents. Let's talk about engineering. It wouldn't be summer without lots of construction projects, and we begin with one that is moving along on 42nd Avenue. Tell us about that project.
Well, first of all, we have two seasons, winter and street repair. And
Hmm.
so it seems like street repair is everywhere. Well, they finally got the final course on the 42nd. There's some little rework they have to do on Zealand, and then there'll be some restoration stuff that's being done, like fixing up the boulevards and stuff like that. But so after that bridge replacement, I think we're finally done.
We'll get back to more streets in just a second, but let's hop over to Meadow Lake. Also during the summer, a time to do some work on the lake. What are they finding there? What is the plan for this year?
Well, apparently a couple people have called in that said that the curly leaf plant is coming back in Meadow Lake. You know, we treated that last year. So we went back to the joint watershed, and they will pay for this, of course. They're looking at probably doing that as soon as the ice goes out next spring. So
Mhm.
they'll treat it again. They knew that they were going to have to treat it more than once. So they'll try treating it again. Hopefully we'll get rid of it this time.
Back to the roads we go. Let's hop over to 169 and 36th Avenue. As you can tell, a lot happening there. What is the latest on that project?
Well, first of all, I finally got a date out of them. They thought October 26th they would be done. So they did put the center posts in last week. So there's some more stuff obvious that has to be done. Keep real close eye on that because they'll be closing that road on and off all summer, depending on the work they have to do. You can always use 42nd or 49th to get off, but when they're doing some actual work on the highway, they'll close it down, and then you'll have to get off uh, further down each way.
Very good. All right, off the roads we go again. Let's hop to a very visible project, and that is the painting of the water tower. Sounds like a lot goes into this.
Well, it does. It does. I just found out it's going to cost just past $3 million to paint and repair the water tower. So that also is paid for by the joint powers agreement with the watersheds. So we're not paying for that as a city, but gosh, that seems like a lot of money. But I don't know. For $3 million, I don't think I'd climb that water tower.
Tough job there. Someone's got to do it, though, I suppose. So watch for that happening. Also, Public Works, their expansion is happening right now, and some things really wrapping up outside, and now the focus seems to be turning to inside.
Well, there's so much more than you actually see. It's a huge building. I understand they've almost got the roof on, and after that's done, they'll do that internal work. But they've also have to relocate the gas pumps. They have to do a lot of grading and tarring on the outside. So a lot of work yet to be done. We really want to get those trucks inside by the end of the summer, and so they're kind of pushing for that.
Another summer project is the 2024 infrastructure improvements, where they go around the city and fix up some of the things that are on a regular schedule. Again, remind us what the schedule is this year, where they're working.
Well, there's a couple things that are going on. One of them is they're doing a crack and seal repair. So what they do is when you see the toilet paper all over the street, it's so that the stuff they put in there will stay in there and not come out on your tires.
Mhm.
So they tell me there's various locations all over the city. After that all cures, then they'll go in and put a top coat on that, but that's not going to be till late August sometime.
And then also working in the area of Hillsborough Avenue, Medicine Lake Road, and 30th Avenue. And it looks like they're getting ready for some paving there as well.
Well, what happened is they had to reconnect a lot of the water pipes coming out of the houses to the main thing, and so they had to take out the curbs. They've replaced the curbs, and they're filling in now those spots. Long process. So after that's all done and it's cured, then they'll put the final coat on that. But they won't be done because they're going to have to fix the boulevards of those houses that they had to do that on. So a lot of work yet to be done, but at least something is happening.
Next up is community development and our weekly update. Again, a lot happening in this department. We'll get to scattered site housing in just a second, but we want to start with the Rave Awards. There's still time to nominate yourself or your neighbor. Remind us again what this great program is for.
Well, when residents improve their homes in some way, either inside or out, we really want to recognize that because I think that's important to keep our housing stock looking really good. So we have this thing called the Rave Award. They have till the 26th of July to either nominate themselves or to nominate their neighbors. If you think you're running out of time, you can go into City Hall and ask for an application. Just fill it out and leave it there. If not, you can call Jeff Elger, and his number's on the screen, and Jeff will either walk you through it on your computer or make sure that you get a form to fill out. But it's got to be done by the 26th, this Friday.
Very good. Let's go to a residence in town that we've been talking about that is actually in a park area, and a lot of discussion happening about this. What is the latest with that property on Oregon?
Well, 3840 Oregon, that house has been sitting there forever. And it's because a developer was going to develop that whole piece of land and then realized it was kind of swampy. So after he got that first house, they just quit. So then the city bought it and filled it in somewhat. It still gets pretty wet when it rains a lot. So we have bought that house, and we're going to take all the appliances out of that house and use them at other city places like the ice arena, the golf course, City Hall. We're also going to remove a lot of the blocks around the outside, and they'll go probably to the golf course and be used there. Some of the trees that are being removed off the lot are being replanted in Lions Park. And there's some bushes there. They don't know if they're able to save those or not with the demolition team going in there. If they can't save them, they're going to try to move them to someplace else in the park. So we're trying to use everything we can before we demolish that property.
Very interesting process there. Did not know that they went to that extent to get some of those things out and reuse them. So be looking for that at the golf course and other places. All right, to scattered site we go. We have a picture of the first property that's on 4201 Boone. This house is looking beautiful.
It is beautiful, isn't it? I think there's a buyer. I don't know that they're moved in yet, but the house is pretty much done. They're working on the one next to it. That's in the earlier stages, and that's going to take a little while longer. But anytime we can tear down a old house that's not being used or is really in bad condition and redoing it, either by tearing it down or redoing the inside, we want to do that to keep the housing stock looking good.
Next property we stop at is 4220 Nevada. Give us an update on this property, which I believe is in the earlier stages of the process.
It is very early stages of the process. So this is one of the original houses in New Hope. It has a detached garage that is a ways away from the house. So what they're going to do is, we did buy that, and now we're going to look at splitting the lot. So we had the surveyors come in, and they survey it off, and then it'll go to the planning commission, and they will vote whether or not it makes sense to split that lot in two. In the meantime, there's a group called Better Futures, and what they do is they go into the houses and they remove the hardwood floors if there is any. They'll take the doors. They resell this stuff. A lot of the woodwork, because this is an older house, they want a lot of that stuff. Now, a couple things might happen with that. One is, if they decide they want to come in, they, in some cases, just take what they want, and then we take the house down. In some cases, they take all kinds of stuff and then they demolish the house. So either way, we get to reuse a lot of the stuff that's in the house. So while that's all going on, in the meantime, they're looking at splitting the lot to put two houses there. Again, we would split the lots and then sell both of the lots to the developers, and they would put up nice houses there.
Very nice. Next property is 5421 Virginia, and we're in the purchasing process of this property, correct?
We are. We're going to close on that on the 25th of July. And so once we close on that, I'll give you some more details on what's going on with that. A lot of times after we close, they go in and see if there's anything usable in the house that we can use somewhere or that we can sell discounted to someplace else. If not, and the other thing that happens is we use a lot of these houses for police and fire training. I don't, at this point, I don't know what they're going to do with that house.
Just down the block at 5437 Virginia, another home that's being looked at. Tell us a little bit more about that property.
That one also we're going to close in on the 25th, and more details to come on that too.
All right, busy times on that block. Another busy block is 50th Avenue. We've got two homes there, and we had one big property split into two. How is the progress going there?
We like to call it the corner lot and the inside lot.
Got it.
So the inside lot is a two-story house, and they're pretty much moving inside. The windows and doors and everything on the outside is done, and they're pretty much moving on the inside. They were kind of waiting with the other one. They dug the hole, but they were waiting for to be able to put the garage floor in the inside one, the two-story one, because you get the cement trucks out there, you might as well do it all. So they poured the foundation on the corner house, which will be a split entry, and they poured the garage and the basement floor on the two-story one. So those both are coming along. I understand the two-story one is sold, and they haven't got a buyer yet for the one that is there.
Very good. And let's hop down the block there to 8024 50th Avenue. Another home that is in the purchase process, and I believe just has been purchased.
It has. Once we purchase these homes, the first thing we do is we call Public Works and ask them to go to the water box out by the curb and turn off the water. And then we remove the meter from the house. And after that's done, then we have somebody come out and remove the gas and electric from the house. So the house is going to be safe. So in that particular one, they've gone out and they've shut off the water. They're waiting to do the electricity. But I understand the police department is going to use that house on the 30th of July and also the 14th of August to do some training. So if you see police cars there, that's what the police cars are there for on those 2 days. They like to do some training at night because it's better for the police officers to go in and practice on a house where there's nobody in it. So they'll be doing that. They're going to be doing that in most of these houses that we're buying. They're going to come in on those 2 days. If you see the police cars there on a day that isn't those 2 days, you feel free to call 911 and tell them.
Good to know. Final update from Community Development is the Business Networking Group. They've got a meeting coming up here in early August. Tell us about that meeting. A very interesting spot it's going to be held at.
Well, that's going to be August 7th. It's an 8:30 meeting. It's open to the public. It's Crystal New Hope Business Networking Group. It's at 4000 Winnetka. And in that building, they do welding training. So the name of the company is Lines, Lynnes, I guess it is. And they train people to be welders. So if you're interested in that in any form at all, whether you're interested in signing up or just seeing what they do, 8:30 in the morning, August 7th, and it is free. Just come in there and it's an hour long and listen to what we have to say.
Great opportunity. Here's another great opportunity for residents of the city and the police department, National Night Out. We've been talking about it for a while, and it seems like it was a long ways away, but now it's really sneaking up on us. Give us the details again of that important date.
So that's August 6th. It used to be called National Night Out. They now call it Night to Unite because National Night Out is a organization that we had to pay quite a bit of money to get their products to announce it. So we went with Night to Unite, which is just another same kind of thing. So that's when neighborhoods have gatherings, whether it's an ice cream social or a potluck, or they just get together and have a soda. That's the night. Well, what happens is all of my police cars, we take out whoever wants to go, usually the council or the city manager and I and the police chief go, and then the council will be out. Also, we'll have just some other people from the city. I know that the garbage truck doesn't come, but all the public works trucks will be out. They'll also be collecting school supplies and canned goods. So if you want to do that as part of your national night out, fine. If you would like the police chief and the city manager and I to come to your national night out party, your night to unite party, you have to register for that because they give us all schedules and we're to stick to those schedules. So we're not allowed to go to ones that aren't on the schedule.
Makes sense. I know it's a busy night. Go to the city's website, newhopemn.gov, to find out more and to register for National Night Out. To Public Works we go. This group is very, very busy with the summer here, and it's a little hot working out there. What are they working on these days?
Well, I call them my little angels because they do all that stuff that nobody else wants to do. So I'm going to read this because there's so many things that they do. So they're fertilizing the athletic fields and irrigating them. They're spraying the boulevards for weeds where they can. They're doing some street sweeping where required or requested. So if you got a lot of junk in your street, you can request them to come out to do that. They had to set up some emergency generators for the lift stations when we had the power outage. We don't want your stuff not to get lifted up to the disposal system. So they were out there, in the storm, putting up these emergency generators. They also have a lot of cleanup work when that happens because a lot of that junk that gets thrown in the street just gets washed into the gutters, and now they have to clean those traps out. So they're doing all that. This last Saturday, they actually came in and worked and shut off some water to Dakota Pasta so they could do some work on their meters. So these guys are just everywhere. It seems to me if you want them, you just have to call and they'll come out and do. I don't know if they'll change the light bulb, but I suppose you can call.
Fantastic group. They are always busy, and they're also busy doing a couple special projects throughout the city. The first is Louisiana Avenue. We've been talking about that stretch of roadway. How is that coming along?
Well, the cul-de-sac is pretty much done, but I understand that with this rain, when it rains, the soil gets wet and it fluffs up a little bit. And so it has to be compacted to a certain level. Well, they did some testing and it wasn't compacting good enough, which means there was still too much water in the soil. So they had to dig all kinds of stuff to try to dry it out. And then they packed it back down, and now they've passed the test. So I'm guessing these next couple of days, they're going to be out there scurrying, trying to get that first layer down. Once they get that first layer down, it pretty much is impervious, so nothing goes through it. And then they're okay, but they got to get that first layer down. They got to get that soil dried out to do that.
The race is on against the rain, also working over by J.C. Park. How is that project coming along?
Well, let's see, what's J.C. Park doing these days? Oh, that one. I'm sorry, I had to look. So again, they failed the compression test.
Okay.
Which means the soil got all worked up and there wasn't that working. So they've now passed that. They put the soil back down this week. They're going to try, if it doesn't rain too much, they're going to try to get that first course back down. So you see these projects and you think, gee, they should be done. Well, there's some factors in there that make it so they can't get done.
All right, let's hop to Park and Rec. A lot going on here as summer cooks along. And one of the things that's been happening, you may, if you've driven by City Hall in that area, heard some music outside. That's because the theater is back outside. We both had a chance to go to the performance, and it is fantastic as always.
It's very lively. Honestly, I was so tired after watching those young people running around and singing. So they're doing Bye Bye Birdie. It starts at 8 o'clock. It's Wednesday through Saturday. Bring a lawn chair. I suggest you get there early because it's been getting pretty filled up. But it's really a cute play and really meant for families, for kids of all ages. The kids seem to like it because it's really a little bit about Elvis going into the army and some other stuff that's going on in the 50s. So it's kind of interesting.
Very good. It is fun. Make sure you get out there. Something that happened this past weekend as we're recording this on the Monday was some softball, and this has ties to some history in the city of New Hope as well.
It does. So Duck Duck Days used to have a softball tournament, and as you know, Duck Duck Days is no longer. But that softball tournament has been taken over by Pub 42 as a sponsor. So that tournament was last weekend at one of our parks, our lighted field. And so that was just fun to watch those games go. So now what happens is the men's softball league is just wrapping up the regular season, and they're going to start their playoffs. So that's always fun to watch. And they'll be at probably mostly at Northwood Park.
Fall time is coming closer than we think, and we can tell that because they're telling us they're editing and making some final edits on the brochure. So it's not that far away, and they're doing some very advanced planning here.
I don't want to talk about it. They're telling me they're doing the final editing for the fall brochure. And you know what that means? So here we are in the middle of July, but I do know it takes a long time for them to get those brochures together, get the dates together, the costs together. So they have to do it early. So I'm just hoping that fall is a long ways away yet.
That's right. We don't have to talk about it for a while now. Another note, the city forester working through Park and Rec is out there looking at some of the trees. This is just an ongoing process, isn't it?
Well, if you've got a dead tree in your yard and you're not sure about it, you can call the city forester, call City Hall, ask for the forester. They'll give you that number or connect you. They'll come out. He's been talking to private residents about tree problems. I do know that Hennepin County talked about having maybe some help toward taking those trees down, and the forester would know that information on those trees and get you connected to where you need to be.
Last couple notes in Park and Rec is to look at 3 of the big facilities in town that have a lot of people at them, and one is the golf course, busy for parties and for golfing at this time of the year.
Who knew? Who knew? So that back patio is being used a lot. There were 2 birthday parties there, Saturday and Sunday. One was for a 90-year-old, and I understand they rented it out Thursday for a local union to come and vote. So it gets pretty busy. A lot of tea times during the weekends, but during the week you really have to call and see if it's available because leagues are still going on.
Okay, very good. Let's go over to the ice arena. It is busy as well. Unbelievably, the season seems to be ramping up. We have more and more on the list each week here, so those skaters are getting back at it, aren't they?
They are. You know, the tournaments or the plays that they actually do really don't start till school starts. But these kids have to get ready. So the girls and boys from Armstrong and Cooper, those hockey teams are practicing. The Mites are there practicing, the little guys. There's some boys from Totino Grace and the school, otherwise I won't remember it. Benilde girls are right. Practicing there. So all these things are happening. And between that, they're having camps. So they're having training camps for the girls and boys at Cooper and Armstrong. And they're having camps for goaltending. They're training the little guys again. Just lots and lots of stuff going on. So this is the place to be, I guess.
And final note in Park and Rec is listen up. Here are the times you can go cool off at the aquatic park because you're going to need to cool off in this next week or so, it seems. Mayor, what are those times?
So weekends, they're open 11 to 7. Weekdays, noon to 8. That's because of the swim lessons. Excuse me. The teen or the tot time where the little kids come in and play in the pool from 0 to 5 years old. That'll be on this Saturday, the 27th, at 9:45 to 10:45. Also on Sunday is the adult water walking, and that's at night from 7:45 to 8:30. And also they'll have the lap swimming going on. There's times for that. So look in your summer brochure. It'll give you the times that the adults are there, the lap swimming. You'll get all the information you need on the pool.
And here's that summer brochure once again with the little soccer guy, and it only has about a month left in it, and then that new one will be out shortly, but this is where you can find out more about the swimming pool. A couple final notes to pass along. We've been talking about the City Services Survey, and let's give you this website right now, newhopemn.gov/2024 City Survey. This is your chance to give the mayor and the city council and staff some feedback. Mayor, why is this so important? Why do you look for people to really take some time on this?
Well, you know, it asks about all the aspects of the city. How's the water tasting? How's your sewer coming? What do you think about the streets, the parks? So we do take that. And then at the bottom, there's comments. You can do 2 things. You can just simply comment, there's too much trash in the park. There's a pothole in front of my house. But if you would like somebody to actually address that, you need to give us either the location of the problem or your name and phone number so we can call you, or an email address so we can contact you. That's all kept very private, by the way. We don't sell those phone numbers or that that email address. But we want the city to look good, and we need the city people's help out there to tell us when there's a problem that we need to see. So do answer that survey. They can go online. They can call Jeff Elger, and he'll get them a survey. You can go into City Hall, fill out the survey, and just drop it off with them. So there's all kinds of ways to answer that survey. We're asking people not to do more than one because we really want a fair assessment of what's going on out there.
Right. And the deadline for that is off into October, correct? But don't wait. Do it right now.
Well, October 1st. And if you do it now, because they're looking at them every day. Mm-hmm. So if you do it now, somebody will contact you. And if you wait till October, it might be too late to fix the pothole.
Yeah.
But if you do it now, when we've got a truck available, that might be the best time to do that. So do let us know when there's things and be very specific and give us some information so we can contact you and fix whatever the problem is.
Very good point. All right. We're going to end today with a couple facts about the city, and get your pencils out because you might need to knock down a few dates here. First couple items related to West Metro Fire Rescue District. They're going to have people come visit them, and then they're going to be out at a local park. First, the opportunity to go visit them. When is that?
So West Metro is Crystal and New Hope's fire departments combined. There's 3 stations, but the open house will be at Station 3. That's the one right off of 42nd and Xylon by Hy-Vee. And that's going to be the 30th of July from 5 to 8. It's free. Basically, the kids can play in the fire trucks if they want. They can hold a fire hose. They put them through a little obstacle course. And I think they're going to feed them a hot dog probably. So fun thing for the kids to do. Now then on August 2nd, the fire department is going to go to Valley Vista Park in Crystal. Mm-hmm. It's about on 30th, I believe.
Right.
That'll be Wet and Wild, and that's from. I don't have the dates on that. The times on that. So we'll look that up, and Dave will put that on the screen for you. But
I think I've got it here. I think it's from noon until 3 is what it looks like, and that is again at Valley Place Park in Crystal. So noon to 3. Right in the hot time of the day. What happens to us? What does this Wet and Wild mean?
They have big sheets of plastic that they put down the hill, and then they have the hoses at the top of the hill because they want it wet, and the kids slide down the water in the hole on this wet plastic, and then they walk up the hill. Mm-hmm. So there's a cost to it. If you get your tickets ahead of time, I believe they're $3. If you do it the day of, they're $5. So it's a pretty fun day for the kids. They just love it. By the time you get them home at 3, they're just tired. They'll take a nap the rest of the afternoon.
There you go. Good plan. Final note we want to pass along is about Food Truck Friday, and it's just what it sounds like. Food trucks on Fridays. What time and where?
11 to 2, and they're at City Hall. Usually there's 3 to 5 of them. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of pick. If you just want ice cream for lunch, they can have ice cream for lunch. Nobody's going to call your mother and tell her you're not eating properly. But there's all kinds of other food, and they change every week, so you never really know what's going to be there. It's just fun to be there. And you can get your lunch and then walk up the hill a little ways to the pavilion and eat in the shade.
Yeah, very good. And you might bump into some city staff people, or even the mayor might be there on occasion. So get out there and say hello to the other residents in town as well. Well, that's it for our update this week. Stick with us. We're going to have a look at a calendar of some of the other events and a reminder about some of those we just talked about in just a few seconds here. Mayor, thanks again for your time. Look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thanks, Dave. See you then. Bye-bye.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.